I find it more difficult each day to be in this dump, especially now that we're in a long summer period where there will not be any more holidays for the rest of this summer. The next big holiday, one can argue, after the 4th of July, is Halloween. Even though Labor Day comes next, and usually for companies like my dump, we usually have a 3-day weekend for that. I mean, I've been here more than long enough to know that we always have a 3-day weekend for both Memorial Day and Labor Day. Thanksgiving, 4-day weekend, right? So my thing is, now that it's already, like well past 4th of July, here I am, still my dump, where it's just incredibly difficult. I mean, it felt like this last year too. So it's not like all of a sudden, oh man, it's like, where am I? This and that. I mean, it's been that way for far too long now. And it just goes to further show why I still have this same old stale life for the past couple of years. I'm seeing nothing that leads to progression, for optimism, especially for my life. And my thing is, it's why I just can't get, I just find myself just reluctant to even go long term with mental health, and just realizing it just doesn't work for me. And I'm sorry to say, I'm not one of those people that that should be advised to seek any kind of mental help that's gonna help me in the long run, to better my mental health through these various methods, from either a psychiatrist, a therapist, even in a church retreat. And I still have this same old life. It just doesn't make any sense for me. That's why I've been saying that I need a new job. A new job that will automatically solve all of my mental struggles. That if I get one on my own, that's already enough to help me better myself as a person. I don't care if guys like Julio come out saying, oh, well, you can't use that as an excuse, to be accountable. Man, my thing is, guys like them, if they're willing to reconnect with me and they saw me already a better person, then that shows me that they're still willing to be real friends with me. Otherwise, if they don't, then they showed me their true colors, that they're not the real friends that I thought they'd be. Even though I've known these guys for 20 plus years. I'm talking about guys like Julio and Robbie, Tristan. You know what I'm saying? Even guys like Dewey, So it's that's how I would know myself. Now, with this topic right here, and before I get into it, man, look, I'm not gonna apologize for what I put up today. I say what I feel like in this channel, and if it bothers anyone, please unsubscribe. That's all you have to do. If you get offended by anything that I say, even if it's not meant towards you, then please just get out of my channel. That's all you have to do. That artisan guy just had no business trying to trash me and saying, oh yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not your friend. Man, shut up. That's why I had to block his ass. I don't need people like that trying to do me wrong, just saying they're all that kind of BS, and trying to be one of those, those online losers, right? So anyways, yeah, man, if it hurts anyone, what I put up, on my videos, even just lately, well, just get out of this channel if you feel like, I'm offending you. So, anyways, man, let's get into this. So, as you know, these ex-close friends of mine that you see right here, Tristan, Julio, and Robbie. I know it seems like I already had a number of videos, discussing these guys, and not enough of some of my other ex-close friends. But when it comes to these guys, I mean, I already had a history with them, memories, and so many, memorable conversations for the good and the bad, right? So here's my thing. As far as this video is concerned, I just want to briefly mention that because of their advices, it's why, like, and I'll explain this in a minute. Their advices, their challenging advices, is why it's hard for me to sustain my friendships with these guys long term. Now, even though 20 plus years is already long, the fact that they're seeing me try to battle these really heavy obstacles is where they've given me all this these challenges of, like in the case of Julio, for example, learning to take accountability for your actions, right? He told me that. And, he was saying all this stuff like, hey, well, I need to work on myself, take a break from social media. My issues are deeper in work. He's right about all that. Well, my deeper issues is because of my dump. I mean, let's not forget that. That's just how I feel. But, some other people can feel otherwise. But, he was saying that, iron sharpens iron. How can one stay sharp with a bunch of rubber knives around you? And I get what he means by that. Now, months later, he touched on, me needing to learn to take accountability for my actions. I didn't understand what that meant at the time. I didn't understand accountability, and I was never been taught. And guys like him, they give me all these mature advices to help. Like, I understand they're trying to help me mature to a better person, at least at their level of maturity. But the problem is, especially with what I'm going through right now, it's like I'm being tested to see if their advices are gonna work for me. And guys like Robbie telling me, about the apologies thing. It's easy to listen to what they tell me, but it's another thing to apply them, and that takes a long process. This is why I've been telling a lot of my ex-close friends in social media, which I don't really use anymore, that it's not hard for me to listen. I can listen to advices, but applying them is different. I've said that a number of times, yet for whatever reason, people take that as it's the same thing. No, it's not. It's not the same. You can listen, but then when you apply, that's taking action, and it's different. It's different when you apply than to just listen. When you listen, you're just listening with your ear. But when you apply those advices, that's when you take action, right? That's what I mean. And yet, for whatever reason, some people, misinterpret that, like, to think that it's the same thing. No, it's not. So, in the case of what Robbie said about, apologies don't mean anything, just to clean it up. Action is actions. His is actually not that hard to understand. Yes, that advice. Well, yeah, that advice is easy to understand. However, regardless of how easy some advices like his, is regardless if it's easy or hard to understand or challenging, right? Applying them is what's challenging. And for the most part, sorry, I got a donut in my mouth. So here's the thing. With some of their advices, and I'll get to Tristan's as well, when he mentioned, hi, nice dog. So in the case of Tristan's, when he told me about having very strong self-control, and that it needs to apply even in the most stressful situations. That part, although I can understand what he meant, is another thing to apply, and that's the part where it's pretty tough. Because once again, I've never been taught very strong self-control to where I can learn how to manage mentally, even when it comes to some of my most stressful situations. For example, my dump that I've been on for 13 years, and some of these other issues outside of my dump, my really deep issues, is where I failed to really, take action as far as what Tristan told me. And so for some of the advices like these guys have, and I know I've talked about these guys notoriously because their advices that they've given me stand out the most. Now, I did touch on what Ivanka has told me back in February about the whole friendship thing, and although I find it very detailed and straightforward for what she said, that's not really too hard to apply. But in the case of advices like these guys, having been around them long enough is where it gets, where they've seen pretty much my strengths and weaknesses as a person and as a friend. I've gone through a number of ups and downs with these guys, during our entire 20-year friendship tenure. So, for them to give me these kind of advices to where they want to see me continuously grow as a person, especially now with these obstacles I've been facing, that's already like a testament to see how long I would be able to maintain my friendships with them, because they've seen that, I guess one can argue the older you get, the more problems you face, and some of those problems tend to get harder. Now, I don't know, I just heard that a long time ago from one of my old classmates, and I forgot what class it was. It's not an art class, but somebody told me that, and it was just like, I was just told that, the older you get, the harder some of these problems are to face, right? So that can be true, and that's exactly where I'm at right now, trying to face my battles. And I know somebody like Nathan has really given me so much detailed advice, and even his he's not even pictured here, but even some of his advices have, although I can understand what he means, they're also pretty challenging to where they're a testament to see if I can mature as a person. And same with these guys and their advices, whether some of their advices are short and sweet, or they're elongated and well detailed, right? It's one thing, like I said, it's one thing to listen, but it's another thing to apply them, and that's where I failed. Now, granted, I still got Nathan still around for sure, no matter what. Which surprises me, but although he's not the only one. But with guys like with the rest of the guys like Julio, Robbie, and Tristan, you know, I having known them for so long, they've always expected so much out of me, and that they want me to really, you know, be aggressive with myself as far as to you know, the betterment of myself as a person, mentally. And right now, with after they have seen my worst, then that's how I know that, you know, they tried to keep me around, and unfortunately, you know, because they're married now. Oh yeah, and I know Andrew is another one too. I totally forgot. Like, I mention these guys notoriously, but Andrew is another one, and I know some of his advices are just, you know, I know based on how he's been slamming all of my reasonings as to why I've been feeling like, you know what, you know, thanks to my dump, you know, it's his is pretty, you know, it's straightforward, but then just like these guys, you know, advices are pretty tough to handle, you know. Well, yeah, man. So at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that I failed these guys, despite having known them for 20 plus years. You know, Rico was right to say, you know what? Even if I've known some of these guys for 20 plus years, you know, it's just a number. Anything can happen. And if they feel like it's time to go, then it's time to go. So, yeah, man, that's all I want to touch on. Because I finished so long, the last donut here. So, you tell me what you guys think. Good, man. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe.